Welcome back to the North American Challengers League, presented by Subway. I'm Mizell. I'm joined by Beatdown Boulevard, and we are getting into our second series of the day. It is Disguised versus Cincinnati Fear. Should be a lot of fun. We're diving straight into the draft, so let's go ahead and pull that baby up, and let's get to it. DSG on the blue side, we got Fear on the red side, and talk a little bit about these teams, Beatdown. I think it's interesting where DSG finds himself, even if they feel like they're very confident in themselves.
Yeah. DSG are a team, returned defending champions from summer 2023. A team where, with the roster changes, unsure if they're going to reach the same highs, but still surprised to see them sitting at 1-3. We talked about it in the pre-show, Lennon. This is another team who are in a little bit of danger towards falling towards that bottom two. And their remaining schedule is tough. Still haven't played Maryville. Still haven't played FlyQuest. When your record is 1-3, that is a pretty scary thing.
Yeah. And for DSG, a little bit of hometown blood here, it feels like. Both Manui and Perry making their names known, it felt like, on Cincinnati Fear. Now, first time going against this organization in this year. We only get it once, so it's a special occasion. But Fear on the other side, an interesting combo of players coming together to make it happen. Chad and Toasty have been, I feel like, the superstars of this team.
100%, and I want to throw some credit Lenz's way as well. I'm really glad he's still in this league because ever since we saw him on 100 Thieves Next, like 2 years now, I always thought he was actually a pretty solid player, and especially because we've lost some of our players who came over back to, the TCL or whatever region they end up coming from. It's cool that he is still here. He's had some pretty good performances as well, and when we talk about the bot lane that we've seen earlier on in the day, I think this is another matchup where it'll be interesting as well.
Well, we won't get the Smolder this time. We also won't get Manui's Seraphine here. The likely ban does come through, but the Ashe slinks on through, makes it their first pick for Disguised.
Yeah, you don't see that happen very often. It's usually permanently red side ban, but in favor of things like the Twisted Fate, which is actually very strong and not all teams are starting to utilize just yet. I can understand the decision, and this is probably the expectation their coach has had. So we already see Senna. It could just instantly be maybe a Tom Kench or something. Maybe they could do something a little crazy. Cincinnati Fear, they've had some pretty fun drafts in the past.
So, again, just like the previous series, flexibility in the Maokai pick. I think this pick is so ridiculously broken in the support role.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the actual combo is going to be. I would expect some more safety to be picked up, but also maybe just go ahead and grab like the jungle mashup, things like that for yourself here for DSG.
100%. They did nerf it on 14-3. A little bit. Things like his mana regeneration, passive healing, and things like that. So it's not as good as it was before, but still a strong pick. Nocturne Ori, though, on the other hand, no hesitation. And you pair that with the Ashe. This comp has engage you'll never see coming. If you get hit by an Ashe arrow, just go get a drink of water, bro. You're on the gray screen. I'm sorry.
Also a takeaway from Chad, something he's been really willing to play this year as well. But it's also something for me, bear with me. We have a lot of really good jungle matchups. But my God, Harry versus Chad has to be one of my favorites. These two guys want to flex so hard from the jungle role, and I expect that to be the case here today. We do get the Maokai here for Chad, though. I guess some potential for it to be top lane for Philip, but I love that Perry is saying, nah, give me the sticks. I want to see what I can do.
Right, and for Perry as a player who we saw, who is generally pretty much playing for his team, does play that shot calling kind of leader role, but it was more like getting his lanes ahead or bailing them out when he was back on Cincinnati Fear. So seeing him play these kinds of champions is very exciting. He has played the Kindred, he's had the games of the Nocturne, but it's cool seeing this newer style from him since it's more of a recent thing. I also, really quickly, I want to highlight, I think the Kench is good, not just because of Senna, but because of that combination there with the Ori Nocturne. So at this point now, you're trying to get rid of beefier members that DSG could look to draft. I think Olaf is a good one. I think Aatrox is also a good one. You just want to get rid of some of these strong fighters, and I'm thinking that just means Phillips going Cassante.
And when we were talking about this matchup before, we were talking about how do we focus on Tenacity and Phillip, and it was a big statement from you saying, I don't want to see Tenacity on no more tanks. I want to see him on Bruiser. Well, he's going to get two of those Bruisers taken away from him. We did get the Gnar as well as the Tristana ban there by DSG.
Just saying, Irelia's up. He had a great Irelia game recently.
He did.
And
he brought it back, and I loved it.
And he was I have it literally in my notes. That was a him game.
It was.
So it could be something we end up seeing come through. But you want to remove the more conventional options, which I respect. And Toasty Alex likely piloting the Yone. Because he's a player who we know really good on the melees. Yone, Akali. This is just right up his alley.
I know we're like 5 weeks in. I'm pretty sure we brought it up every single time this guy plays.
Not enough.
But Toasty really impressed everyone in the offseason, in the combines. Yeah. His thinking of how to find flanks, how to be those pivotal mid-game engages, very, very crucial. And I think on the Yone, you can have that with the damage profile to back it up. So I'm very excited to see him picking up a classic, I feel like, at this point for him. It is that Cassante locked in, though, for Tenacity.
Okay, so it's not going to be... It isn't going to be the carry fighter type thing that we saw, like the bans maybe indicated, but this does make a lot of sense because you need frontline. You need a little bit of beef, a little space making for champs like Jhin and Ashe, and I'm just going to take a step back. This is all you, please.
Jhin Ashe is so dirty. Yeah. It's so ridiculous how many times you can get the deadly flourish off and how easy it is to do. That is the combination, though, that you need to really watch for is Manui. Maybe not the biggest damage dealer, but you're really looking at the combo of Parry and Young to be that crux that DSG is built off of. Everything else around them is utility to try to get that combination going. So I'm very curious at the length of engage that DSG have brought.
I am as well, and that's why I made that joke earlier about, you get hit by Ashe Arrow, you're done. Pack it up. Go home. But we'll say, DSG's comp, you have a lot of early lane pressure, and you have some great wombo combo. But I like that you highlighted the damage, because I'm looking at Fear's comp. There is a good amount of disengage here. So when I'm looking at champs like Nocturne Ori, or comps that have this big wombo combo, if you can survive that initial burst with your carries intact, you can usually win it out. And that's what I'm looking for Fear's comp to do, especially with these big late game kind of champions. Gwen, Yone, Senna.
It's going to be a lot of scary moments for these squishies on the side of DSG as we get into late game. There's also just a lot of sharp things that are going to be flying at you over and over again. I'm very curious how they deal with that. Hopefully they listened to their parents when they were younger, said don't run with scissors. I don't know if that fits anywhere in here, but it is a combination where a lot of this for Fear relies on Chad being stable in the jungle, right? You've got to get to a late game potential for them.
Right, because again, DSG Parry is going to be looking to leverage some of the prio that you have, mid, bot, and things like that to be able to get leads, grab dragons, because Drake stacking is going to be pretty important for this team as well. I really can't stress how this mid to late game in an even game state might be hard for DSG to be able to play. I think Fear have a pretty big advantage in that regard.
They definitely do. Let's see who's got this one, though. Spam in chat, DSG or Fear, for who you think is going to take the dub. Remember, this is a best of 3. We'll see how it all pans out. Both these teams, especially DSG, wanting to get to brighter pastures, while Fear, only 3 games in so far, want to continue their positive win streak.
That's right. I talked about it in that last series. Fear got that pretty clutch win. Against Lit, actually. 3-game series. Feels very bad if you're Lit. Felt pretty great if you're Cincinnati Fear.
Also, we will see those mirrored starts. At least Chad go with a little bit of special here. We got the Wolves start for the Maokai jungle. I do wonder where his pathing is truly going to lead. If that does mean he's just going to be doing a 3-camp bot side. But it is curious. These are the 2 guys we have to keep an eye on, especially in the early game, especially once we hit that level 6, because they will be so pivotal in how this early part of the game plans out.
Yeah, again, and there's going to be my eyes are on Parry, a player who in the early stages of the game is usually pretty good at helping his laners out, bailing them out if they get into pretty bad lane states. So with that in mind, what's he going to do with this bot lane and mid lane that you can see are building waves, are getting this priority? And what kind of leads are he going to be able to generate? Especially, how quickly is he going to be able to get to level 6? Because that's really what you're looking for with this champion. Like, this is Nocturne, early ganks, unless they are the freest ganks in the universe. I'm talking like freer than free. He's just going to keep farming.
Yeah, and I was snooping in Parry's Twitch stream last night just to check up on him, see how he's doing.
How's he doing?
I messaged him, and he was like, it's an easy win against Fear tomorrow.
Okay.
So We'll see if that does stick to be true. Some confidence there for sure. But on the other side, Chad, a guy who I feel like has been so pivotal in our community, either talked about well or negatively, but it's a guy who has not stopped to try to make the push to LCS. A guy who has changed his style, become more communicative, but still kept that rough and tough namesake I feel like that he has had all of his career.
And I love it too with Chad. There aren't many players you'll find that are more confident. I think he has a line where it's something like, I just want a full clear, but these other junglers, they keep giving me these opportunities to take things from them. And I love the confidence. I love the aggressiveness as well from him. Now Perry, the first time he's left his jungle, what's he going to do? Just a scuttle crab?
Just scuttle crab.
Okay.
Just a little scuttle bottle.
It's a little extra. Good reference.
As just a little point on Chad as well, you know, he was the jungler for Mirage Alliance when they were able to make it in ACL this year, so it has that going for him as well. We do see mid lane maybe ending up if Toasty says forward. The back does get completed from Perry.
Yeah, again, has to be the freest ganks in the universe. So, not really much else to be done there. And his Gromp is respawning. You want to get to level 6 again as soon as possible. So that information, though, will be nice for Fear and Chad because of that ward Philip did lay down. Even the sapling will annoy Perry a little bit as he goes for his camps.
Oof. Young getting the better of Toasty in that trade, just trying to get some of the minions cleared there as well. The gank in topside did not go through. Tenacity is going to walk up to the bush. Did that stop Chad's back? It did not. He's confident and cool. Does put the ward down before he goes back, signaling out Perry here so that Philip can play a little bit more safely.
Right, and Perry, of course, is in the area just because he's unsure whether or not Chad actually stayed. Just wants to cover in case something goes down, but it is just going to be back to farming. I imagine this game will continue to be bloodless just a little bit longer, unless somebody goes for an objective you wouldn't really expect. But I don't think we're going to see that until level 6s come through, so things are going to be nice and slow, nice and chill, Lennon.
Chill out, it seems.
Take a break.
The play. Yeah,
some water.
I do. Okay, Perry's going to go ahead and go for the grubbies here, as there is not the trade on the other side, so it actually means that there could be a contest on the other side of the match as well. It does seem that Chad is taking true to his mantra and just farming up as much as he's given the opportunity to. Yeah. And Perry will be able to secure the 3 grubbies.
So this is interesting for a couple of reasons. The big thing that I'm seeing here is that when you get those early 3 grubs, especially if it's just an easy pickup for you, that is a lot of experience. And for a champion like Nocturne, where you want XP as much as you can get, there's a decent chance he just gets level 6 at the end of this clear. That's why you're seeing Chad go for the invade, see if he can slow that down a little bit, because Young is already there, has the shockwave, and as soon as that combo goes through, that is the second DSG are ready to fight anywhere.
Perry about halfway to level 6. Chad able to sneak away those chicky nuggies and deny that to some extent. He's going to try to fight over these Krugs, though, because he definitely wants to try to deny that level 6. He knows where Perry is at. He's going to actually back here with that control ward in the bush. Daption tries to go for something pot side, doesn't find it. The back is going to be completed there as well.
Yeah, and that bot prio, I think means, yeah, you're probably just going to go ahead and have an easy time picking up this Drake. Surely he's just going to go ahead and start this. Okay, he is.
Leash it out a little bit, make the exit a bit easier for him. Take this on the back of that one. Chad is on his way out here. Toasty taking a pretty heavy trade into Young in mid lane as well. Trying to get some of that priority here because it looks like Chad wants to contest.
Yeah, this one is going to be a little tough. Toasty's here with ult. Oh, the shockwave.
Oh, Toasty's in a lot of trouble there. Dragon is not the focus anymore because DSG want to fight. Toasty, he misses it, but he does get to safety there because of it. Now Chad flashing over the death wall. Perry trying to go after him, can't do it. The thumbs up from Chad. My God, the missile damage. But Toasty is completely left out. They're going to give the kill over to Young as well, and Chad ended up going down too. So 2-0 for DSG out of seemingly nowhere.
And the first Drake on top of the gold lead they have earned themselves. I mean, this couldn't have started off any better for Disguised based on everything we talked about. I want to give props to mid and jungle of this team. Perry and Young, I think both played that really well. I love the use of the shockwave to chunk Toasty out of the fight. And Perry crucially dodges out the ultimate as well, making that fight just super free.
A lot of damage there. Not going to be able to get through there. But yeah, a really good heads-up play there from DSG, realizing, even without level 6, we win these skirmishes if Toasty can't hit.
Yeah, and you see the immediate shockwave. You're trying to just make Toasty leave this engage altogether. And Perry, he has the move speed from his Q, easily able to sidestep the Fate Sealed. And at this point, this is just an easy fight. You have bot prio, of course this is going to end well for you as Disguised.
I like that they gave it over to Young as well. I think, again, we highlighted in the draft, this Perry-Young combo is going to be so crucial. A Deadly Flares combo hit bot side. He won't be able to. Poobs actually got the movement here with that approach velocity. Can't get the last volley in the end.
So Naption gets to live another day. But otherwise, DS Disguised very happy with how these early minutes have played out. This is before Perry hit level 6, by the way. Young has the shockwave. Paranoia is up and available. And now, my eyes are on this bot lane. Because you got to imagine, especially if Young can get the wave bounce back, get a timer where he can set himself up and Perry to move bot lane, setting Lens and Daption behind would be great for DSG's win con.
Saw the turret plates there going over the way of Manili as well. Philip does have a sneaky man in the bush. He does get in trouble here. Gwen, though, is going to pop that needlework. He'll be just fine, healing up a decent amount. Yet both ultis to be looking to be popped in topside of the map, but Tenacity still has his all out to make a play off of it.
Oh, Boom's also level 6, guys, remember.
They've hit it.
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, if that lands.
Oh no, Toasty! He gets the buffer there. That's huge. The shockwave doesn't connect there, and that's actually big. Terry, he goes down, and Toasty's the one that comes up clean.
We got to give props to Chad for recognizing that was the play, or the most likely play, covering his mid laner. So it ends up being unsuccessful, and you get some gold back into your pockets as Cincinnati Fear. That one feels really good, as especially Daption and Lens get an opportunity to crash a wave.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be coming back to them.
And I think it's very clear, and something that we've known since the team got put together, right? Chad and Toasty, a lethal combo, but it's interesting to know the background information, right? Chad, a bit more veteran, Toasty, brand new, it feels like, coming off a very important Combine series of events, it feels like, in the offseason. But Chad kind of taking this guy under his wing, and they are one of our deadly duos in NACL.
I liked something that he actually said, was that he's looking forward to working with someone like Toasty, less experienced. And it's a really cool thing to see. Usually that's what you hope for when you have these rosters with that mix of veterancy versus newer players. And it's resulted in Fear having a pretty good record for themselves at the moment here. They're 2-1. And honestly, overall, this team has looked pretty good so far.
Looking pretty good. As I think now I want to talk a little bit more about the compositional strengths that we were talking about beforehand, even though I think that we do see a lead for DSG being really important, and we don't get to talk about it because Deadly Flares combo with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes through. But finding the way to make that Shockwave Nocturne combo work is very important for DSG, because without that I feel like they don't have a lot of say as the fights go on.
No, that's the question I posed, or rather the conundrum I posed in Champ Select at the end of it. It's just that, can you survive that initial burst? Tom Kench allows you to do that. Early on, though, you don't have as much team fight power. So if DSG can get the combo off, they win the fight. And if they can't, well, Fear will have that chance to answer back. That's why, so far, even though that one play didn't work, we have this lead for DSG. We are already seeing the synergy of this comp in action.
And the timer always being watched for Fear, and especially if you're a Fear fan, you just want that clock to keep ticking. Once it hits 25 minutes, I think you're feeling a lot more confident here. We did get that experimental Hex plate, though, completed for Perry as well, so first item spike's going to be very important for DSG to continue leaps and bounds with this lead off of.
Right now, we're 10 seconds from the next Drake as well. That should be what DSG have their sights set on it, but you can see it. Fear members on the red side, they're moving in as well, maybe looking for some kind of angle, but this honestly looks like a difficult fight for them, so I'm not sure this is actually ideal. Toasty can get a big Fate Seal, huge ultimate, onto the back line. Maybe there's an angle, but as you can see, they think better of it.
That's what we're going to have to look out for, is those angles that we all know Toasty so well for. Boom, able to provide a lot of vision there, and they get the in-game. There's the combo, and it actually hits this time, but it doesn't kill. Chad makes it out alive. Fourth shot goes wide. Now Fear looking for Toasty's play, and Young is the one that they catch in the crosshairs. Toasty gets that kill, and this is the kind of position that Fear loves to be in.
And it's only 13 minutes in, but we're already seeing the concern with DSG's composition. Now, the Drake stacking. It's been halted. Fear feel amazing about what they just accomplished in that fight. The fact that Chad gets to walk away and Fear gets to just continue on the fight, taking Young out of the picture and now allowing this Yone to get a little bit of a lead.
See Perry actually looking for that Fear onto Fear. As Toasty will end up fighting a little bit back. Just try to save this wave as much as he can, I guess. Get Young a couple there. But we'll take a look back at the start of this play that was initiated by DSG.
Yeah, and again, this is the combo that you're hoping for here. But see, that third shot, if that landed and they could start looking elsewhere, this fight potentially could have gone differently. But Toasty, Lens, big damage dealers in this team composition were largely untouched by the combo. And that can never happen, Lennon. The target selection is just as important as how this composition actually works.
So we're getting to a point where the ease of execution for Fear is starting to be seen, and some of that difficulty for DSG is showing its roots in their composition. But now it is that Rift Herald on the other side of the map that is up and available, and Perry's going to start that one up.
Right, ults are back up. Another chance for the combo is available to Disguise. But Perry likes his chances, especially with his bot lane getting pressure. Thing is, though, Fear, they're in the area. They look like they may want to contest this one.
It's a little dicey. You do have all the combos available.
Young is
with
bot side,
Tenacity
though.
has moved down, they won't find it.
Okay, so they don't actually want to mess around with that one. That will be an objective secured for DSG, and it won't be a contribution to their Drake stacks, but if they use this Herald, they're able to knock down the mid-outer, able to successfully set up some kind of play as a result of it. Get this gold lead up. This is the way they snowball. 1.5K? That's not enough.
It's not enough. Not nearly enough. As we got to get further on in the game to see if it will end up being enough. The vision does go out, see what's happening, as well as if Chad is going to reset there. And I think that's something also very crucial to think about for DSG moving forward is they have that range of engage. It's about using some of the vision that we've seen them play with so well so far as well.
Right now, eyes are really just on this bottom side of the map. You can already see it. The junglers are clearing towards this side. I'm expecting a push for vision to come through, because if you're Fear, that last fight surely has emboldened you. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Young.
Oh,
Young. All right, see if he makes it out. There's the combo. They do end up getting a little bit of damage. The Enchantress Ferrero goes wide, but Perry's doing some work on a Toasty. And Perry ends up getting the kill. Chad, he's just a tree, man. Leave him alone. There he goes. The nice save, at least, from Dabshin.
And a really nice turn from Disguise to be able to get themselves that skirmish win. They managed to pick up some more gold, and it alleviates some of the pressure they may have been feeling on the spot side. So they have a good chance to lay down some vision, get right back to the Drake stacking they started at 5 minutes in this game.
All right, I got a question for you deep down. I don't know if you're a very scientific guy, but it's been racking my brain here.
Okay.
If the hex plate is experimental, if you're doing an experiment, that means there has to be a hypothesis that you're experimenting to test. What is the experiment with the experimental hex plate?
Is it healthy to give Nocturne all his favorite stats in one item? I think that's the hypothesis.
All right. I like it. Well, we'll see if that comes true here, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Just need some testing out there.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've already had our answer since this item came out.
So far,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's actually crazy how well some of the items in the new phase really, really work with champion kits. I look at this, like, pretty much all the top lane items are literally built for Aatrox. But we'll see. Mid lane is the focus right now for Fear. They were trying to wrap around on Manui, but DSG are looking elsewhere, and they're looking onto Toasty here. They do get that fate sealed onto them, but they're going to take down Toasty, and now Philip has put himself in an awkward space. Tenacity's going to TP as well. Here comes the Nature's Grasp. Fear just trying to make it out alive. Deadly Flourish comes in, though. Tenacity's doing some work here. Philip, no health bar to speak of, as Manui making Jin felt. Daption's going to flash over the wall. I don't think he has a way out. Abyssal Dive will get him on the other side, but he trapped himself on the other wall. The triple knockback, and that's Daption going down to Manui as well.
Holy smokes, that's what we were looking for from DSG's composition. Lennon, they've gotten so much gold off of that exchange. Their gold lead is ballooned to 5K, and now Poom's going to use the Herald to take down the mid-tier 1 turret. There's a lot of might, so it should be easily taken down. And DSG have blown this game wide open. This is exactly what they were looking for, and we're going to see it again in the replay.
Take a look back at the initial combo here. Fear realize, I feel like about the time that Chad uses the Nature's Grasp, they need to back off.
Yeah. The thing, too, is that this fight, this was such a great angle from Perry and Young, because nobody would have ever been able to respond in time. 4 seconds for the TP to channel. That's too long. This Nocturne has reached that one item mark you talked about with the Hex Plate, and he just does so much. Once Young has set up the ultimate, I mean, it's just a done deal.
And we were talking so much about execution, right? And this does take a very high level of execution, because you don't have a lot of damage behind Perry and Young. You have a lot of setup, and you've got to use that. So pulling apart the map, finding those good decisions, and having somebody like Perry, who we know wants to be the shot caller, wants to make a difference through jungle, you gotta expect there's some war calls going on in that that voice call right now.
I mean, we've seen examples of that very thing, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. And that leads me to another point as well, where playing against Nocturne, even though this comp is pretty high execution, you're right, it requires a lot of discipline because of the ability to play towards the side lane, to join from such a far distance. And I think that's something that Fear are going to have to deal with because of the fact that Toasty got caught out on the bottom lane. Philip is in the same danger of doing so inside as well, and any slip up like that puts you further in the hole.
And the timer has just not hit your saving grace moment. You need, and especially now, you need a lot more time. It's not that 25-minute mark anymore. It's like 30 plus now. And you've got to find a way to survive till then. And that has been the difficulty. That has been the question raised to Fear. And so far, not many answers coming their way.
Not yet. But this isn't where their comp really starts to come online. We're waiting a couple more minutes. 2 items. That's what we're hoping for. And to be fair, to their credit, the last couple of fights were skirmishes more and taking the advantage of the fact that you can get a numbers advantage, kind of like this.
Oh, there it is. That's what I talked about in draft.
Oh my
God.
Deadly
Flourish combo to set up Perry with Poom slowing them down. It's so difficult to get away from, and Poom can play so aggressively. That's the approach velocity helping. He's going to blast to try to stop him from getting out. Poom with the moves, man.
Oh.
He's fine. He's fine.
Oh, he's
Shockwave
fine.
back.
Not even close.
Oh, Chad going back in. Okay, maybe not so fine anymore as Toasty's doing some work out too. The 4th shot's not going to be enough here. I don't think so. And Len's now going for Young. Young's in some trouble. Deadly Flourish does connect. Toasty finds yet another one. That's a double kill. And now Manui is in some serious trouble as Philip trying to run him down. Snip, snip, and Fear with the miraculous comeback, it feels like. Start the Baron.
And it's an insane 180 that this game has turned into now, because Fear, they get so many kills, almost an ace with the exception of Tenacity, and it's just going to be an easy Baron take. There is no one to respond, there is nothing to be done, and just like that, Fear have forced their way back into this game.
Well, you needed some extension on the timer. You definitely got it there. The Rally Cry Baron buff going over to Fear, and what a slip-up it feels like from DSG.
Absolutely. It's just this idea of going in a little too deep in that fight, because again, this entire comp hinges on that combo. If you don't finish off key members of Fear, then it just doesn't work. So with that in mind, we've basically seen countless examples of both throughout every skirmish. Does the combo win them the fight? Great. DSG are happy. Does the combo not win them the fight? DSG are very sad. Frowning face.
It's like the decision tree, right? It's like,
yeah, literally.
Then you go this way. If no, that way.
Yep, pretty much.
How big is the decision tree, though? Does it go down more than just 1 or 2? Is it
no, it's pretty much yes and no as far as these comps are concerned. So even though DSG's lead has been reduced quite a bit, you still have maybe a bit of hope in terms of dragon stacking. You still have good wave clear. You see the priority they've gotten mid, and my eyes are going to be...
Problem is, though, you're starting to see things like this go down.
Yeah.
Young is going to get popped, but it's going to be returned favor right away. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes down, and Perry's doing some work here. He does end up taking him down. Young gets the kill in the end, and can't catch him out. You can't beat him.
And what I was getting to, and what I was thinking might happen, is you make a play like this on the side in hopes that that can get you set up for Drake. But it's looking like DSG, they're just going to go ahead and sack this one, get as many waves in top as they can, and just give up on their third Drake.
A decent amount of damage to dash, and that gray health ain't going to save you for too long. Stops that abyssal dive. Doesn't end up popping the gray health. Tenacity is way overextended now. Should just give his life. He's dashing over, but Toasty's coming over after a TP through mid, and Tenacity goes to a shutdown to Lens. That's not what you want to see.
No, I mean, that was an ambitious fight to begin with. Again, you were never going to get this Drake as Fear anyway, or rather as DSG anyway, which is why I like the play to the top side. But instead, they lose the Drake, and they give away a kill. Over to Toasty.
I got a serious question here.
Okay.
Who do you kill with the combo now? Honestly, like, I don't
now.
know if anybody dies.
Yeah, Toasty, I mean, once he gets his flash up especially, he's got a good amount of lifesteal. He's going for what looks like the Jack show as well, which I really like to make him a little more beefier in these team fights. So to answer that question, I don't know. Like, the idea is you go for Lens, but that's why I love the Tahm Kench in this game. You use the Devour, you save your teammate. I feel like we've already reached the point of no return with DSG's composition, partially because of that team fight fumble, and even more so because of Tenacity giving his life in bot side.
We said it from the beginning, you are on a timer, and their timer is starting to tick down. Gotta find a way in, gotta find some picks. Young getting picked is not the play, as Dawning Shadow is going to come across.
He can't click him?
He does end up getting out there with the flash. Perry going to use the spell shield over there, though.
Oh, got him.
Sealed. Who's there? Perry on the other side after the Devour. Toasty with a 2v1, and they end up carrying out, catching out Perry.
Well, there it is, guys. The decision tree has turned into one answer now, and one outcome, I fear. Because it's as you said, Lennon, you can't get the kills you're hoping for with this comp anymore. 5v5, that door is pretty much closed on DSG. Your only hope is placed aside. Playing for Tenacity, moving with Young to see if you can try and get some breathing room on the map.
Earlier I said you might have to wait till about 30 minutes. Well, I think the 25-minute mark was still right as rain. 3 items is really where this just becomes untenable, it feels like, for DSG, and they're getting to that point very, very soon. So proactivity is the name of the game for DSG. Try to find something to extend this lead as much as you can, because you're evened up.
And it gets even harder because 3 minutes, Fear now have the opportunity to get their soul point. And unless you make a pick onto Toasty, who you can already see with his positioning, he's learned his lesson. He knows that you can't be too pushed up when you don't know where the Nocturne is. And even with his team nearby, he is going to go ahead and push up anyways. So maybe that's the play. You can see DSG are looking for it.
We're at least trying to go that way.
Yeah.
Again, though, it's like you pull the trigger there. They survive long enough now that everyone else from Fear can get there, right? And if you give Chad a good re-engage potential in the Nature's Grasp, that becomes so deadly to DSG.
Oh, so the element of surprise is what they're working with here. They're going to cover Manui, who's clearing mid lane. They have all the wards you could hope for to ensure that Fear are none the wiser. And now they're just going to use that priority they got mid to try and set up some vision. A push play is probably something that they need to be able to actually get this third Drake, because we already talked about it, Lennon. It is hard for them to be able to fight these.
The volley goes over the wall, showing Philip that they were over on that side of the map, which means that Fear feel very confident to take down this outer tower now.
It should be pretty easy. And they have a pretty decent wave here, but
Ooh. So Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide. Nature's Grass comes through. Tenacity going all out on the Phillip. He gets dragged away now by the Devourer. Nice save from Daption. Tenacity will burn the ulti. A lot of ultis burned, honestly, on both sides at least. But we do need to see a continuation of this proactivity from DSG.
It's tough because it feels like their options are dwindling by the second. And right now, we look like we have something.
Chunked Shockwave there on the Toasty, but it does no damage, which is so unfortunate. Daption's still tanky as all get out, and that means that Fear still confident to push up.
Yeah, they're trying to just brute force this mid-tier 1 turret in hopes that it'll be a little easier to get some deep vision. But now they want to start this Baron. They take it decently quickly because they have 2 marksmen.
There's no combo from DSG. What do you do here?
You wait for the combo to come back. To be honest, you're just here in hopes that you can use some of your poke, but even with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing, like, you have no way to fight when that duo don't have their ults up or parrying.
Paranoia is coming back up. There is the curtain call. Paranoia comes through. They are on the lens. He flashes Dawning Shadow. Look at that. What did I tell you? You cannot kill them. As Fear put the fear of Cincinnati in disguise. And there ain't no saving them now. The timer has ticked down to midnight. The world is coming to an end. And Fear rule everything.
And wow, DSG, it looked like they had it made in this early game, Lennon. Things were looking solid, but a couple mistakes, a couple key fights going Fear's way, and we already saw it didn't take long for us to see the strengths of this composition flourish. Now they've gotten their own gold lead for the first time this game, and they've gotten their second Baron buff to play with. I have a feeling we won't even see Dragon Soul for anybody.
There's the soul point being secured by Toasty, but what a day of comebacks so far, Beatdown. Game 1 of the day was an incredible comeback, and now Fear find themselves on a huge gold lead after starting off pretty down in the dumps.
I gotta say, shout out script writers. I'm really liking what I'm seeing in that regard. If you could make this a 3-game series, though, that would be like just one extra little thing. It's just a nitpick, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Just a little nitpick.
Just a little bit.
Just a little one.
It would be nice.
Now, is there a combination of things that happen for DSG that you feel like they can actually catch him at? Because we obviously see going on the lens doesn't work. He also has the cloak now, so you won't be able to get anything there with the Edge of Night. We do see them try to go in on the Toasty, or at least Poom is the one that gets taken down by Toasty. And now Phillip with the needlework over on the other side, and it will slow down multiple members. Manui, as the Jhin, just gets caught out there. Big 4-man shockwave, but it doesn't matter because Toasty, he finds that bait sealed, and it might have just done exactly that to DSG.
Hey, we got 40 seconds on Manui and Perry, 16 on Poom. They could look for the end if they want to. Phillip almost has his TP up. Toasty has it too. I think this is all she wrote.
They're going to be able to barrel down the mid lane. It has hit that 30-minute mark, and Fear have hit their comfort zone. The comeback actually makes it come through yet again. Another series that starts off the day with it. And Fear might not actually be able to finish it here because they've waited so long. And now Daption, he gets fried like a little fried fish on a Friday. And that's DSG with a bit of a defense, but their base in tatters.
So this gives you some breathing room. Here's the problem. You see the pink wards going down. They're going to sweep and check. The problem ends up being the TP flanks later. But here's how the fight starts. It's crazy that 2 ults are thrown right at Toasty's face, and he's still able to kill Poom. This is why people complain about Yone, guys. And this is where this gold lead really starts to shine through. I mean, the combo is just doing no work for the side of DSG. And you can just see it. Toasty comes so close to death, but isn't actually going down. They just don't have the firepower anymore on the side of DSG. And even though they didn't manage to take the Nexus yet, I'm feeling they will soon.
It's just a matter of time, it feels like, at this point. But that's what I love about these games. And obviously Fearless makes the next drafts a little bit more complicated as well. But it's a situation where both teams tried different strategies. DSG with a very particular one in the Shockwave Nocturne combo. But the response was for Fear just to say, okay, see what you can do. We'll see you after 30 minutes, and if we make it there, you lose. And I think those kinds of things are really, really interesting when you start thinking about the way that this series can play out in the best of 3.
Yeah, especially when you consider a lot of our games have a pretty high average game time. The lowest average game time, actually we'll talk about that after. They're descending it.
They're trying to find Toasty. He goes for that bait seal, but he can't get out. Perry, you just got blasted, bro. Dabson also, he's just getting fried again. My God, Perry tried, but there ain't no hope anymore.
And there's really not. With Perry being out of the picture, you just need one more fight for the side of Fear. And I mean, props to Fear members like Toasty, like Chad in this game 1, who had some really solid performances. Even though DSG looked like they had the run of things in those first 15 minutes, it's this Yone, it's this Maokai finding these key plays to be able to turn things around, and it's part of this rubber band that we've seen for Cincinnati Fear.
And really relying on, I feel like, some really important factors here. Like Chad willing to go with a non-carry jungler to set up Toasty and Lens. Toasty having incredible grit in the laning to now being the force to be reckoned with in a lot of these fights, right? As soon as he engages, you know the fight's going to go well for them. And that's been the come up of Toasty. I feel like it's been so important. We talked about him so much already. It's been really curious because he was like an original wild card prodigy, right? Back in 2021. So it's really curious to see that growth, even though it feels like now we're just now starting to see this guy come alive.
To come alive, he did, Lennon. What a game we've seen from him so far in game 1. Now, we're just kind of waiting for, you know the saying, it's not over till the fat lady sings, Lennon. Are you familiar?
I do know that one.
Great. Well, she's taking a deep breath right now. Warm-ups are done. Water has been drunk. Just waiting for her opportunity to sing the high note. It's looking like I was wrong, though. We will see somebody soul this game.
Wow, can't believe you led us to the wrong.
Wow,
wow, beat down. Can't believe you.
How dare I not be clairvoyant? I'm a monster. You're right.
Yeah, you're despicable, really.
You gonna spit on me next, man? Come on.
No, I'm good. That's too far.
Okay.
That's true. I don't want to kick you while you're down, all right?
Yeah, fair enough. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Speaking of kicking while they're down, though, that is a Cloud Soul to a very speedy team that is going to be even more terrifying now that you cannot escape them, it feels like. And that's the conversation where now we can start kind of ticking over to game number 2, I feel like, for DSG and finding a way to find that stability. Is this a situation where now they're just saying, okay, well, if you want to go late game, we match late game?
Could be. They need to hold that.
They're going to try it again. Do they do it this time? No, they don't. Lens is still alive.
And this is how it goes. They committed a lot.
17 times the charm.
Yeah, surely. 4 ults, no kills.
Oh. And Chad's just like, hey, I'll show you what really happens, as now it's DSG being run through the ground by Fear. And game 1 holistically goes over to Cincinnati Fear. Tenacity gets a nice 4-man knockback. Has that all out. He's surviving. He's doing Kazante things, but it doesn't matter. It's all for show. It's all glitz and glam. But Fear know the reality, and it is a game 1 win.
And what a game 1 win it is. It's got to be demoralizing to have the lead and then end up dropping it like that. But Fear will not be denied. It's Fear who are now at match point.
Looking to keep that positive streak going, and also Fear able to get a little bit of payback onto Mr. Perry and Manui too as an organization. But game 1 goes their way. We'll see if DSG can bounce back in any shape or form and see if they change that draft strategy up, as we'll be back for game 2.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Welcome to the 2024 spring split of the LCS Challengers League. This spring will feature 10 teams competing in a single round-robin best-of-3 format, and for the first time ever, we'll be implementing Fearless Drafts. If you're not familiar, Fearless Draft adds a new twist to pick and ban. Once a champion is picked by a team in the series, it cannot be picked by them again. So if Team A drafts Teemo in Game 1, they cannot play Teemo for the rest of the series. Team B could pick Teemo in Game 2, but then wouldn't be able to play him in Game 3. And like LCS, all games will be played on the live patch, so you can take what you see from the games and try them out on your own. The top 8 teams from our regular season advance to the NACL playoffs, which will feature a double elimination bracket with a mix of best-of-3 and best-of-5 matches. Alongside the NACL are 2 qualifier tournaments, which will also feature Fearless Drafts on the live patch. The bottom 2 teams from the NACL regular season will compete against the top 4 teams from the qualifiers in a promotion tournament, battling in a double elimination bracket to qualify into the NACL in summer 2024. All LCS Challengers League games and coverage will be available on twitch.tv/LCS_challengers, with matches starting right after the LCS. And as a reminder, with team revenue shares, every sub in Twitch Prime directly supports the teams and players. Another split of Challengers League begins right now, and we can't wait to see you there.